Hello, Randi Rain here, and I finally got myself one of these Tomytronic 3D games. If you don't know what this is, it's an LCD game, but it has this viewfinder where it splits the screen up into two different images so you get the 3D effect. I've never actually played one of these. This one is the one called Sky Attack. I really don't know how it works. I'm going to find out, and hopefully I can get this one working. Hopefully it's just the battery terminals because they are all corroded. So let's open this up, let's see how it works, and let's see if I can get this thing going again. So here's the game. I'll show you. There's the right and left moving, fire, sound on and off power here. On the back side there's the instructions. Here is the battery. You can see right away that I have broken terminals, that they are all pretty corroded. So let's take it apart. I see lots of corrosion that it's got down to here. Even corrosion on these wires, these leads here. A couple of resistors have corrosion on them as well. And it's all due to these battery terminals. Look how bad those are. I bet you they just kind of crumble if I try to mess with them. Those are going to have to be replaced. That's going to have to be cleaned up. Got 3 more screws here. So these are just plastic here. Nothing in these. This is not where the lenses are. Lenses are in this piece with a mirror. Comes apart here. I'll look into that in a second, but that's pretty neat how it splits it up. 2 viewfinders. Now back to this corroded board here. Looks like 4 screws. Somewhat smaller screws here. This one doesn't look to be connected. What's going on with that? It is connected, just not to the main board. It's connected to the LCD screen here that just came apart. Here's the double screen that gets the ambient light in and lights this up that you can see in there. So here we definitely have some polarized lenses of some sort, because I turn it this way and you can see right through it. As I go this way, it's not. This feels like the rubber here, so I'm imagining it's the same type of rubber that these buttons have, little rubber that is conductive. And if I remember correctly, I think it went this direction on there with that polarized lens in front of it. But I guess I should just go ahead and put it back. It went like that, and this only went one way. Like that. Okay, I'm gonna empty out some of that corrosion. I'm gonna put this back temporarily, just to be held into place, because I'm going to put my power supply on here. Give it 4.5 volts. And let's see what happens. Something happened. Turned on. It is lighting up in there. You probably can't see it, but it is working. So it does work. I saw the LCD graphics, they are there. So really it looks like just this and clean up the corrosion. So let's do that. Okay, so while my soldering iron is heating up, I'm going to use some CLR to see if I can't get some of this corrosion to go away. You can see it going to work here. Alright, there's this piezo speaker in here that has been melted into place, so I want it out so I can wash this down. There we go. Okay, now my soldering iron is hot. I can undo these. And I've got the electronics free, so I can clean it up better. Even though it's starting to look really good. Maybe a little bit more. So I can get the battery door off like that. This one has the notch. So now I just need to get these off and replace those. Let's just see how well they're holding up. Let's see what happens with some CLR. So this is the broken one here. So this one more than likely will need to be completely replaced. Alright, so I need to create another terminal here that's been broken off. I figured I'd have to fix all of these, but actually they're in good shape except for the broken one. That was the only one. I figured they'd all break apart, but they actually seem to be doing pretty good. So all I'll do is fix this one, and I actually have a little piece of brass from my last project. This was a piece that didn't get used, so I'm going to use it as a battery terminal. Go ahead and round it off a little bit. And I've also used a hammer and a screwdriver, bend that hole out so that's protruding a little bit, like the original ones have. And it's going to go right there. It's going to set in there just about right there. I'm just going to bend it over at that spot. Be a bend. I'm going to trim it a little bit, like that. Now it's going to go right here. So I'm going to use my file. Use this file, take it down some to get down to clean metal. Now see if this will tin. Like that. I'm also going to tin this thing. Now I'm going to put it into its spot. I'm going to go with that. Okay, now I'm going to take some sandpaper and clean these leads on this side. Alright, let's try some batteries in there. Go ahead and put the battery door on. Hope that'll stay. My multimeter here. Negative, positive. There it is. So we have continuity. We're getting 4.63 volts between those three. That'll work. Alright, let's see. Let's put a little solder on these wires. Positive goes to here. Negative goes on this side. Alright, let's put some batteries back in this thing. I took them out to solder. Try again. Put the buttons back. Alright, let's see what happens when it turns on. There it goes. Okay. Oh, I can see it moving. I think it's working. Okay, I'm not too anxious about taking this thing apart with these mirrors and stuff. I don't think they'll break. I just think I don't want to get smudges on them. But I want this all cleaned up. So it has these tabs, I see. There we go, it separates in there. That piece comes off. We have the magnifying glasses. real glass mirror. I'll clean that up separately. I want to wash all this stuff. Alright, I gave this thing a good wash since it's going to be next to my eyes. Thing's going to be clean if it's going next to my eye. Looks good. Set in there like that. This piece divided it. Give this lens a good cleaning, even though I've already cleaned it. This is my right. Put it in there like that. This was my left. Went in like that. And this piece snapped into place. That CLR has kind of a stickiness to it, so I'm just going to go ahead and give it a cleaning with some Windex as well through the whole thing. And I'll go ahead and clean these buttons with some Windex while I'm at it. Okay, so I think it works. So let's put this back. Just went like that. Don't forget that piece goes on, holds in place with this one. And then this goes on. There's a burn mark, it looks like, right there. It's not anything I could wash away. Might could polish that out. Okay, let's see if I can do something about this burn mark here. I'll take an X-Acto knife and try to scrape it away as much as I can. Now I'm going to take some CA glue and see about filling it in. Those two little spots there. An accelerator. Go back to just cleaning this up. And I'm going to take some sandpaper. And sand it down. Okay, now I'm going to take some steel wool. Better. Now I'm going to take Brasso. A little Brasso on here. That's about as good as I can get it. Ugh. Well, there it is, the Tomytronic 3D Sky Attack game in perfect working condition. That turned out to be a lot easier than I thought it would be. Okay, hold up, stop. As I was playing this thing, after I got the electronics to work, I noticed the buttons are sticking and they get stuck down, and every time they get stuck down that makes the other buttons not work, and so basically the game is unplayable. The rubber is just gone out of them, and matter of fact if you kind of flick it, the kind of degrades and breaks apart. So I need to do something about that. And second of all, I'm not exactly sure I know how this thing works, because it's a black and white LCD screen like they had in the 80s, but it's in color. So I'm going to dive back into that, and I'm also going to fix these buttons. I have an idea for that. Okay, let's start with the buttons. The culprits is the fire button for one. As you can see, stuck down right now. If you have to kind of flick it to get it up, because it will stay down. The other one is the left button here. You can see here how it's totally crumbling away, and yeah, it sticks and stays down as well. So I thought about casting new rubber buttons and painting the conductive coating on there, but I have a better idea, because that's just too hard and too much work. I have these little push buttons, these little momentary push buttons here. You can see what it looks like. So I'm going to get rid of all of the rubber pieces, all these, and I'm going to solder on the board one of these buttons on each one of these switches. Then I'm going to 3D print some plastic buttons and then make that the button that goes. First thing I need to do is get this thing apart again. So here's one of the rubber buttons, and it's just this part here. It just doesn't have enough force There's no spring left into it that want to push it up. And I don't really know of a way to fix that. So let me explain how these buttons work, and I'm doing it specifically for a friend of mine who probably won't ever see this, but I'm going to explain it anyway. So here is where the button pushes down. Here on the bottom of this is conductive paint. If these stop working, you can actually buy paint and repaint them. That's not the problem here. It's plenty conductive. It's just the rubber is going away. So that little conductive piece smashes down here and it connects two of the leads. And these are just two leads that zigzag back here. So there's one that comes in here, and then there's this one right here. So any kind of switch that will connect those two is going to work. So what I'm going to do is solder this little button to each one of the leads on here, like so. And then I'm going to create a piece that's going to mash down on that button. So I'm going to use some flat black enamel paint, and I'm going to cover up the majority of these leads and only leave the spots that I want to solder to. So while that paint is drying, so I'm going to try to tin these leads on these buttons. Alright, let's give it a shot here. Buttons are working, but when I have it open, I want to look in here one more time because we have a black and white LCD screen that is showing color when you look into it. Now, my guess is that the LCD screen, instead of showing the picture of the icon on the screen, it's blocking out everything but the icon on the screen. And this is obviously for light coming in. So the light comes in and the LCD screen only allows the part to go through, and then that part lights up the little fake screen inside here. If I take this LCD screen out, you can see the picture of what you see. That's the color you see. You can see the different perspectives for each eye, and you can see that the parts of where the things are going to be moving are going to be able to be lit up. And then you take this screen, gets put on top of there, and then this polarized screen. I'm not 100% exactly sure how this works, but I think that's what it is. Instead of the tank being what's dark on the LCD, everything else is dark and the tank is see-through, so light shines through and is able to light up that piece. That's what I'm guessing is how it works. I mean, what a clever way of creating colored LCD display screens back when there was no such thing, and doing it at 3D on top of that. I mean, that's just pretty impressive. Okay, so now it's time to make these buttons, and I made some little test pieces here. If I grind this off, I still need to go down deep just a little bit in at least some spot so I can put a flange on the button so it doesn't fall through. I can't do the long ends because that's where the solder points are, so it has to be here. Let's start with this Dremel tool. So next I want to try to use this smaller bit to make a little notch. Alright, here's some new buttons I 3D printed. Let's see how well these fit in there. I'm just going to paint them with some model paints. This is fire here. Then black ones go here and here. And then the power. And then the sound switch. And here's the buttons. Click, 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 click. Well, now there. Now it's restored. It works perfectly. I love the new buttons. I even love how they feel. You can really hit that fire button. Here's some footage that I tried my best to get. Yeah, it's not easy to get footage on this thing. How other people have done it, I have no idea. But I tried my phone, I've tried the camera. That's the best I got. But hey, it works perfectly now, and that's how you restore them. So if you like this video, please give it a like. Helps me. And if you want to see more of this type of stuff, well then hit the subscribe button. But for now, I'm back to shooting knockoff of Tron enemies. 4:30. Tomytronic, the Tomytronic, he's Tomytronic.